Hello, today we are going to talk about the prepayment management app that is available on App Stores and can be used all over the world with Business Central. Prepayment management app allows us to track customer-based and vendor-based prepayment. As we know, standard Business Central only supports order-based prepayments. For some business processes, this is very useful, very good, but for some other processes, it's kind of a little bit limiting. You can change the amounts and the line and so on. So we have created the customer and our vendor-based prepayment app. So you can register, let's say, a prepayment that is related to a customer, and then you can use the prepayment amount later on orders or invoices. You can use it fully or you can use it partly. For example, customer makes a prepayment, let's say 1,000 euros, and then you can deduct this amount piece by piece from, let's say, five invoices, let's say 200 from each. So this gives us flexibility with prepayments. As I said, it's available on App Stores, and free trial can be downloaded and tried it out for a month. And we also have an online help. So if you're on the App Stores, you can just click the help link, and it will open the kind of user manual, online user manual, where the customer side is written down in detail, but we have mirrored the functionality to the vendor or purchase side as well, so it won't be that difficult to transfer it over. And prepayment management also supports the prepayment unrealized VAT setup. So this might be used widely, so we added the support to this standard functionality as well. So let's see the solution then. Today we are going to mostly focus on the vendor-specific prepayment side, as the customer side is written down in detail in the help. So let's see the visual through vendor or purchase side. So first of all, the setup. We have used the standard prepayment account setup from the general posting setup. So if we adjust or enter the accounts here, we have the sales prepayment accounts here, and also the purchase prepayment accounts. So then the system knows that this account is used for prepayments and will create the prepayment ledger entries. So this is the setup. Basically, that's all. For purchase side, you'll have to allow the vendor-based prepayments. For sales side, it's not necessary, it's automatically switched on, but for vendor side, you have to switch it on. So let's check it. Purchase setup. So purchase and payable setup. So we have a little birdie here. Use vendor-specific prepayments. If you switch it on, the solution starts working also for the vendor side. So the idea is very simple. You can either register the prepayment through purchase, let's say vendor prepayment through purchase order or purchase invoices. Both documents are supported. We can later on use the prepayment on both documents, either purchase orders and purchase invoices. So let's register a prepayment through purchase invoice. For example, our vendor sends us a prepayment invoice and we'll have to pay it. Then we'll get the ordinary invoice. So just we create a new purchase invoice. Let's say the vendor is everything you fill in as an ordinary purchase invoice. So on the lines, you just can use the prepayment account, or you have to use the prepayment account, otherwise the prepayment ledger entries won't be created. Let's say prepayment, and this account must be the account that is assigned in the general posting setup in there. So let's say it's a prepayment for, let's say, some contract 345. Let's say it's about 1,000 euros. So this is the line, and we can check the preview posting just to be sure will the related entry be created or no. So we can see here we have this prepayment ledger entry line. So we can now be sure that the line will be created. We have chosen the right account and the solution has been switched on. So let's post this invoice. And it's done. We have registered a prepayment. So we can check it from a couple of different places. For example, let's check it from the vendors list. Let's say we have this vendor here, ABB. And on the right side in the buy from vendor history, we can see a number of open prepayments. So we can check what open prepayments this vendor has. We can see that there are a couple of vendor specific prepayments. We can also see the remaining amount of this prepayment. We also see that that invoices are open. It means the invoice has not been. This shows that the prepayment ledger entry is open, so there is still some remaining amount. For example, from the previous line, we can see that the original amount was actually 5,000 and the remaining is 3,000. So it means we have used it partly earlier. But we can see from here that if the related invoice is fully paid or not, because on purchase side, we actually can't use the prepayment before the invoice has not been paid. So this is a good indication. You can see that this line was paid and already used, but now we will try to use the first line and see what happens. So from vendor ledger entries, yeah, we will always have a track of our prepayments and the remaining amounts. Standard solution is it's a bit difficult to get a very good overview what prepayments we have currently open, which closed, what's the total prepayment amount over all the customers or vendors. But here you can track it through the entries. So let's try to use this now. So when the normal invoice comes, or let's say maybe the purchase order will be sent, can use it on either purchase invoice or purchase order. Let's create the purchase order just to be dynamic. So we have the vendor here. Let's say the vendor invoice number, and we can also see from the invoice order or invoice that this vendor has some open prepayments. So this gives us some indication that maybe we should use the prepayment on this invoice. So let's say this vendor sells us something. I have a service code created here. So I'm pretty lazy guy. Let's say it's like different services, and let's say the original amount is, let's say it's 500 euros. It's for the services. A lot of fields here. So let's say quantity is 1 and the unit price is 500. Yeah, that's what I wanted to get. 500 euros, and now we can apply can apply this vendor prepayment. So we get the vendor prepayments button here, and we can actually choose from which prepayment line I will use. As we created this first one, let's try to use this one. It's actually not paid, so we probably will get an error, but let's see if it works. So now it automatically creates a line here with the same account as we registered it, gives us the description, and it's just registered with minus quantity. The amount, as it can't apply a bigger amount than 500, then it automatically took only 500 here. We also got a very strange line here, but this is other functionality. So let's try to delete it. Seems we're in a bit of trouble here. Let's make it to 0. Some service charge. So we applied the prepayment, and now our total amount is actually 0. So let's try to post it now, or at least check the posting preview, and let's see what happens. So now the system warns us that the prepayment invoice is not paid, so I can't use this line actually before I have paid for it. So let's open the vendor card. Let's open the balance, and let's try to pay this. I think this was the last one, yeah, with the correct date. So let's create a payment and apply it quickly. So through payment journal. Okay, now we have paid the invoice. It's not in the balance anymore. So probably now we can post it. Let's check it first. So yeah, and we have the prepayment ledger entry here as well. So now we can post it. So now we are just talking about the third line here, but yes, so I'll continue. Yes. So and now we can go and check the prepayment lines again. We can get the list directly from here, or we can go down through the vendors list. Let's see if you can find it from here. Prepayment ledger entries. So from here we can see all the prepayment ledger entries that are still opened by default. So, but we are interested in this first line, or this vendor. So we can see now that let's filter it out. We can see now that the remaining amount is 500. It was 1,000. We used half of it. Now it's 500. You can of course track all the entries from this list. So currently it only shows us the open entries, but if we remove the open button, then we will see all the transactions here actually. So we can see that this part of the prepayment was used on this invoice here. And this part was 500 euros. And we can also see that this line is not open anymore, but the other one is. And we can also see from which prepayment entry line this amount was taken, or which is the related prepayment entry line. So we kind of always have a very good track over the prepayments. As we can see here, the prepayment management solution also supports currencies. So if you are registering prepayments in different currencies, then it might be quite handy because it also supports the revaluation of prepayment amounts. For example, if a vendor or customer pays us or we pay them some amount, let's say in dollars or in different currencies, then we might have to reevaluate it at the end of the month. So the solution supports both the realized currency change and also the unrealized currency amounts. And here we can see one line where the realized gains was registered. Works similarly to the standard functionality, standard currency revaluation. So we have now registered a prepayment and have now used the prepayment. So this is kind of the main point of the solution, and we could do the same thing with customers or with sales invoices, but it would just be the same process actually, but with just sales documents. And whenever there is a need to create a credit invoice or credit memo for the prepayment invoice, then this is also supported. We can go through this process because always the crediting thing can be like kind of annoying, but let's see if we can manage. So we have the post purchase invoices here. Let's try to create a credit memo for the initial prepayment invoice. So we have those correcting options here. So we will use this because we have to adjust it. Yeah, it informs that this is already closed and so on, but yeah, this is fine at this point. Yes. So we have to enter vendor credit memo number, maybe credit 1, 2, 3, 4. And what is important for the credit memo is that we have to apply it to the original prepayment line. So let's see, applied prepayment entry number. So we have this line here we created, so the remaining amount is 500. So we can't actually make a credit invoice to a bigger amount if we have used already half of the prepayment amount. But let's leave the amount at this point like this, and let's see what it will say when we try to post it, or at least run the posting routine. So now it informs us that including with VAT, it must not exceed 600, or without VAT, 500. Yeah, it has the VAT track as well, because you can register the prepayment amount with VAT or without VAT, but later on, if you use it, the other line might be with whatever VAT it is, the item or service, how it must be. But on the prepayment usage line, it must be the same VAT percentage and groups as it was on the initial registering prepayment line. So, but let's change it to 500 here, and hopefully now we can post it as well. So I related it to this, and let's post it. Yes. So now we have a posted purchase credit memo. So if we now once again go and check the prepayment ledger entries, we should be able to see only one open prepayment as we close the other one with a credit memo. So this is the earlier one. This is still remains the same, but let's open let's see all the entries. Now we can see that we have created a credit memo and thus used the other part of the initial amount here. And of course, now we have this credit memo open in the vendor ledger entries. They can see it here. It's not fully paid. So we always have a very good track over the prepayment amounts. That's much easier to put them together with GL information, because from GL account it might be quite hard to track or find out with which customer and so on it's related, but with the help of prepayment ledger entries, it's quite easy to manage. Yeah, and if you check the balance here, we just see as we create this credit memo, we just see this credit memo here that is not paid. So this is the solution, and yeah, it works on both sides, on sales side with customers, with sales invoices, sales orders, and also with vendor side with purchase order, purchase invoices. So you have the flexibility to use it how you want and with what you want. And there is a track for unrealized VAT too, if that's needed. For prepayments, yeah, it's quite common to use the unrealized VAT functionality as well. So thank you for watching. I hope it was helpful.